Today we're going to make donuts in our silicone ring form. Now, not just any donuts. Remember I told you I'm trying to clean up my diet and make a little healthier food. Well, today we're going to make protein donuts, and they're only going to have a little bit of honey in them to sweeten them, and we're using whey protein instead of like regular old starchy flour. So this is what we're going to do today. All right, first thing I want to show you, I have 2 tablespoons of coconut flour. Now, you could use regular flour or almond flour or oat flour or something like that, but you probably have to adjust the amounts because coconut flour absorbs a lot of the liquid and it makes a thicker batter. So you might need to add a little more if you use a different type of flour. Now, the coconut flour is also really good at helping with the flavor and giving it just like a hint of sweetness without adding sugar to it. Okay, so to our 2 tablespoons of coconut flour, I'm going to add half a cup of vanilla whey protein. Now you could use any type of protein that you want. I use whey protein because I have a sensitivity to soy, so I cannot use soy products. So you could also probably use a different flavor. Now, I was thinking this earlier. I used to have a whey protein that was dreamsicle, orange creamsicle flavored, and that would probably be really good. You could probably use the chocolate if you wanted to make them like a chocolate flavored. But today we're using the vanilla whey protein. Now, it's half a cup. Add that in with your coconut flour. And to that, we are going to add half a teaspoon of baking powder. Half a teaspoon of baking powder. Now, also, it may seem strange, but we're going to add 1 dash, just a dash of nutmeg. And it's not really like, you're not going to really taste it. It's to help have it more of a donutty flavor. Since these are going to be baked instead of fried, now you're going to stir all of those dry ingredients together. Your whey protein, your coconut flour, your baking powder, and just a dash of nutmeg. All right, now then. In this little bowl here, I've got 2 large egg whites. Now, I use an egg substitute, like egg beaters, and basically all that is, because I've made it from homemade before, it's egg whites with a little bit of powdered milk and a little bit of yellow food color. So that's all that is. Basically, these are egg whites, and that's half a cup of egg beaters in here. And to that, I want to add, let's see, oh yes, the recipe that I found called for 1 tablespoon of coconut oil. I don't have coconut oil. I'm using 1 tablespoon of olive oil. I'm going to add it in with the egg whites. Now, that could also be a tablespoon of melted butter if you're not worried about, your fats and calories and all that stuff. You could use a tablespoon of melted butter and it would work just as well. Now, the recipe didn't call for it, but it needs to have a little bit of sweet to it. So I'm adding 2 tablespoons of honey. Now this is raw honey. I use raw honey from a local Fisher Honey. It's made in North Little Rock. So I'm putting 2 tablespoons of honey in this. And that's for the entire batch, so that's not really a lot. All right, now then, we are going to take the wet mixture and we're going to combine that really thoroughly. And then we're going to pour this slowly into our dry mixture. And then we're going to make sure it gets all of it in there because it's not a whole lot of liquid. Okay. Now we're going to mix it until it is thoroughly combined with no lumps. That's why you wanted to whisk your dry ingredients beforehand so that there's no lumps going to be in here. And it makes a rather thick batter. It's still a little bit pourable, but it's not as wet as it could be because of the coconut flour. All right. Now, it smells pretty good. You could also, if you wanted to, add a little bit of cinnamon, or it's coming up on that time. If you want to, hit it with a little pumpkin pie spice. Give it that extra little zip. All right, now then. Show you, let's get this over here so I don't make a mess with it. Okay. Now then, what I'm going to do is I'm going to see the wonderful thing about our silicone forms, you never have to grease them. No grease, no oil, just, you see it's got that non-stick coating, it's shiny, and whenever you let your baked goods sit until they cool, all you have to do is kind of pull the edges away and gently ease them out, and they will not stick. Okay, I've got the small ladle. Now, if you've got a piping bag, that would work really well for this because they'd go in nice and neat and even, and you wouldn't have any spillage on the outsides. But I do not have a piping bag, so we're going to do this with this ladle. I'm going to carefully place it in there. The silicone ring form, each little section holds, I want to say, 1/3 of a cup, but you don't want to fill it all the way full. You just want to fill it about maybe 2/3 of the way full. Okay, let's see. That way they'll stay contained and hold their shape and all that. The silicone forms, I love them. I have almost all of them. They are the best silicone that baking forms I've ever used, and I've been trying out silicone baking forms for about probably 20 years, because I like the lightweightness of them, and I like the fact that they won't ever rust. They won't ever get out of shape if you use them the way that they are intended to be used. Now, our silicone forms can stand up to oven heat up to 428 degrees. Now, anything over that is probably going to be just a little too much for them. So you want to just make sure that you don't go over the 428 degree mark with the silicone forms. Now, I'm going to leave these plain once they're cooked. Maybe hit them with a little powdered sugar or cinnamon, but you can glaze them if you want to mix up a glaze to put in on them. You could, if you make the little chocolate ones, and like if you use a chocolate protein powder, then you could probably hit them with a little bit of chocolate frosting, and that would probably be good. But basically, this is just a basic protein donut recipe for those who are trying to be good and not eat all the sugar and refined carbs and fat that regular donuts usually represent. So this is just like a little treat to have. Even though you're watching what you eat doesn't mean you shouldn't have something special once in a while. I know it helps me if I have just something, you know. Now also, if you made it with the chocolate protein, you could also probably put in there just a couple little chocolate chips in each one, push them down in the batter, and that would probably be really good too. You see, I've got the batter in the forms, and now I'm going to place it in a preheated 325-degree oven for 8 to 10 minutes. I'll keep an eye on them to see. Now, when they're done, since they are baked and not fried, you will notice when you take them out after they've cooled that the bottom side will be more golden brown than the top side. If that bothers you, either frost the unbrowned side or flip them over. That way they look pretty on a plate and they're all golden brown. But because of the protein powder, now the coconut flour will help them to brown a bit, but unlike having, you know, like your butter and all that cream, all that other stuff that usually goes into them, there's nothing really in here except for that 1 tablespoon of olive oil to help them brown up. So, and we're back. Okay, out of the oven. See, this is what I told you. They're not really browned on top because there's nothing in them to really make them brown. So, I baked them. I ended up baking them for 12 minutes in a 325 oven that had been preheated. Then I pulled them out and I let them sit for about 10 minutes and let them cool down so that I can handle them. All right, then you see the way the raised handles here? You can take it, kind of just gently pull it loose this way, and then from this angle, just pull it this way. They should pop right out. There you go. See, this side got browned, this side did not. Now, put them in a little plate. I'm going to turn them so that the brown side is up. Like I said, if you wanted to, you could ice the other side or like glaze them, or you could brush them with just a little bit of oil and roll them in some cinnamon sugar or some powdered sugar if you're not concerned that much about how much sugar you're getting in your diet. But that made just exactly 6, which, aren't they sweet? There you go. And came right out, no problem whatsoever, and you don't have to grease the pan. Now, one of the things that I love most about our silicone forms is that they're very versatile and they're very durable. As long as you do not abuse them and use them in a way they were not intended to be used, they will not lose their shape or get melty or anything like that. They are the Tupperware silicone, once it's manufactured, is cured for 8 hours after production, and it is high quality and it is the safest silicone on the market. They are good for the microwave, for the oven. You can use them in your fridge and your freezer, and they are dishwasher safe. These are the things that I love best about our forms. And so easy to clean up. Just pop them in your dishwasher. There's no scrubbing. They're not going to rust on you like a metal pan will. They're not going to have the little non-stick surface come off like some of those baking pans and baking sheets, like, you know, that you can buy at the Walmart. Those will eventually wear out on you. These, if you take care of them, will last you forever. And I love mine. I absolutely love mine. And this is just one of the reasons that I can still have treats even when I am trying to clean up my diet. So these would be great for breakfast. They would be great for just a little after school snack. They would be great for just any time that you feel like you need to have a little something for dessert or for a snack or anything like that.